It was supposed to be a normal morning outside Walmart. Families were coming and going, carts rolling by. And nothing seemed out of place until a little girl, clutching her father's hand, paused near the entrance. Her eyes locked onto Anne. Elderly man pushing a shopping cart, dressed in a worn navy blazer and a veteran's cap. He looked like someone's grandpa. She gave him a small, innocent wave. What happened next would change everything. The veteran, a man named Frank, had seen a lot in his years of service, but that day, it wasn't just the child's wave that caught his attention. It was what he sensed immediately after. The girl's smile faded quickly. Her body tensed. Her tiny hand tightened around her dad's, and for a split second, something in her eyes screamed for help. Frank's instincts, sharpened from decades in the military, kicked in instantly. He didn't know who the man beside her was, but something wasn't right. Not at all was it the way the man avoided eye contact. The firm grip on the child's hand, or the silent fear the girl didn't speak but clearly showed. Frank didn't wait. His years of training had taught him that hesitation could cost lives. And in that moment, all that mattered was getting to the truth before it was too late. What he did next stunned everyone, especially the people who thought no one was watching. But just as things started to unravel, something even bigger began to unfold. Frank stepped aside, letting his shopping cart drift to the edge of the sidewalk. His eyes stayed locked on the man and the little girl. Something about the way she kept glancing up at the man beside her wasn't the look a kid gives a parent. It was guarded, uncertain. Frank had seen that kind of fear before, long ago, during rescue missions overseas. It was the kind of fear you feel but can't always explain. The man seemed calm on the surface. But Frank noticed subtle things: a tightened jaw, a hand that never left the girl's wrist, and eyes that scanned the parking lot, not like someone looking for a car but like someone watching for trouble. Frank didn't want to cause a scene, especially if he was wrong, but every instinct told him something was off. He reached for his phone, pretending to check messages while discreetly snapping a photo. Then he slowly walked closer, acting like he was heading toward the entrance. Inside, shoppers continued their routines, pushing carts, loading groceries, not noticing the quiet storm brewing just outside. Frank was trained to observe details others missed, and what he saw now made his pulse tighten. The girl looked back one more time. Her mouth didn't move, but her eyes did. She blinked twice low, deliberate. It wasn't random. Frank knew that was a signal. Now he had a decision to make. It had to be fast. But before he could act, a black SUV pulled up and everything changed. The black SUV rolled to a slow stop near the entrance. Its windows were tinted, the kind that makes it impossible to see who's inside. Frank's stomach dropped. This wasn't just a coincidence. Something bigger was in motion. The man with the girl stiffened when he noticed the SUV. His hand shifted from holding her wrist to gripping her shoulder. It wasn't protective. It was controlling. Frank positioned himself behind a row of carts, still watching. He wasn't armed, but he didn't need to be. His training had taught him how to handle chaos. He scanned the lot, looking for security, for anyone paying attention, but people were busy with their own lives. No one else saw what he saw. Inside the SUV, a rear door slowly opened. A woman stepped out, dressed sharply, but with a blank expression. She said nothing. The man with the girl subtly nodded toward her. That's when it hit Frank. This wasn't a domestic situation. This felt like a handoff. It's like something organized. The kind of situation that doesn't make the news because it's over before anyone realizes what happened. Meanwhile, inside Walmart, a cashier on break named Dana glanced out the window. She had seen the veteran around before and recognized the way he stood, tense, alert. Her instincts flared too. She grabbed her phone and started filming. As Frank stepped closer, ready to intervene, the girl looked up at him again. This time, she mouthed a word-only one. It was enough to confirm his worst fear. Frank's heart pounded. He replayed the girl's lips, forming that one word, *, help. It wasn't loud, but it was clear. That was it. He couldn't wait any longer. As the woman from the SUV took a few steps forward, Frank moved fast, stepping in front of the man and the child with the confidence of someone who had done this before. "Sir, everything okay here?" Frank asked, voice steady but loud enough for others nearby to hear. The man's face froze. "We're fine, just heading in." Frank didn't move. His eyes never left the girl's. "You sure?" She looked scared. The woman from the SUV hesitated. Her hand reached into her coat, too smooth, too practiced. Frank didn't flinch, but his eyes locked onto hers. He shifted slightly, shielding the girl without making it obvious. Across the lot, Dana from Walmart had already started walking toward them, phone recording. She wasn't sure what was going on, but something about the tension in Frank's stance made her press live, then screeching tires. Another car pulled into the lot fast. It didn't park. It stopped at an angle. Two men got out, one with a phone, the other scanning the scene like he was looking for confirmation. The man gripping the girl's shoulder leaned in close to her ear, whispering something. Frank took a step forward. "You don't want to do this." No one spoke. For a split second, the world seemed to hold its breath. Everyone was waiting for what? No one was quite sure. But something was about to break. Before anyone could move, the girl suddenly yanked free from the man's grip and darted behind Frank, grabbing the hem of his blazer. Her small voice trembled. "Don't let them take me." That was at the moment everything snapped. The man lunged forward, but Frank blocked him with a firm arm, his voice rising. "Back up." Now just then, one of the two men from the second car flashed a badge. "Homeland Security. Step away from the child." His partner moved in quickly, eyes locked on the woman by the SUV. The man who had been with the girl froze, his calm exterior cracking into panic. "She's my niece," he muttered, but no one was buying it anymore. Dana kept her phone aimed, capturing every second, and the crowd around the entrance began to grow, murmuring, sensing something serious was unfolding. But the twist came fast. The woman from the SUV, who had looked so composed just moments ago, suddenly took off running toward the back of the store. One of the agents chased her, yelling for backup. At the same time, the badge-wielding agent turned to Frank and whispered, "We've been watching them for weeks." But she wasn't supposed to be here. Today, Frank's eyes widened. Then how did she end up with him? The agent didn't answer. He didn't have to. Because just then, the girl reached into her pocket and pulled out a small, crumpled note. She handed it to Frank, whispering, "I found this in the trunk." Frank unfolded the crumpled note with steady hands. The handwriting was shaky, written in pencil on the back of a store receipt. It read, "Please help. I'm not his daughter. They said they're taking me to the docks at sunset. There's more girls. Please." His chest tightened. This wasn't just a kidnapping. It was part of something larger. Behind him, the homeland. Security agent grabbed his radio, calling in coordinates with urgency. The other agent returned moments later, empty-handed, shaking his head. "She's gone. Vanished behind the store and into a getaway car." We missed her, but Frank wasn't listening anymore. His eyes were on the girl, who now stood silently beside him, gripping his sleeve like a lifeline. The man who had posed as her guardian was now in handcuffs, sitting on the ground. Defeated as officers arrived and the crowd slowly backed away, Dana walked up to Frank, still recording. "They'll want to talk to you," she said softly. "You saved her." Frank looked at the child and then down at the note again. He handed it to the agent. "You need to find the rest. She's not the only one." Then the girl spoke again, her voice quiet but clear. "There was another girl, in the trunk before me." She gave me the note. Frank's eyes narrowed. "Where is she now?" The girl hesitated, then looked toward the edge of the parking lot there. She whispered, "She's watching us." From that car end, just like that, the engine roared to life. The black car sped toward the lot's exit, but this time officers were ready. A patrol cruiser blocked its path, forcing the driver to swerve and come to a stop. Doors flew open. Inside, they found another girl, frightened, thin, and silent, crouched in the back seat. Oh, she blinked at the flashing lights, unsure if she was finally safe. Frank stood by, arms crossed, as agents guided both children into the warmth of safety. The girl who had waved to him outside the Walmart clung to his hand until the very end, refusing to let go until she was surrounded by real care. Her name was Lila. She was only 9, and she hadn't been reported missing because no one even knew she was gone. That was the hardest part as investigators dug deeper. They uncovered a small trafficking ring operating in plain sight, using public places and quick exchanges to avoid suspicion. But that day, something had gone wrong for them, and just right for the kids, because a veteran trusted his instincts. Frank never thought a simple trip for groceries would lead to something like this. But deep down, he knew it was no accident. His training, his attention, and that small wave from a brave little girl changed everything. The video Dana posted went viral overnight. Titled "Veteran Saves Girl at Walmart. Real-life hero." But Frank didn't care about that. He only cared that 2 more children were safe.